Hi everyone, Assalamu alaikum to all my brothers and sisters. As you could tell from the title of this video, I'm going to be talking about my revert story to Islam, and this is something that is very personal for me, and I wasn't going to talk about it really, but I realized that this is who I am now, and I want to embrace it, and I want to be proud of it, and I just want to share my story because when I used to watch revert stories and I was thinking about reverting to Islam, it was something that was very touching and inspiring and motivational for me. So I want to share my story, and even if you're not thinking to convert to Islam or anything, I hope it can give you a new perspective, and maybe even start thinking about having just a relationship with God and whatever religion it may be. So I'm just going to get into it. So pretty much, I grew up a Catholic and did everything. I was baptized, my first communion, confirmation, Sunday school, everything. I did all of that. However, along the way, or I guess maybe even the whole time, I never really felt a connection with God. I never really filled that gap was never filled for me. I was never really taking it on or being very religious. Definitely, after I stopped going to Sunday school or Sunday church, I just never really kept going with it. It kind of got lost. I wasn't practicing at all. But I guess throughout the past 5 years, I would consider myself more on the spiritual path. But even then, I never felt like I was connecting with anything. Really, what was missing was that connection with God. And I never found that until I found Islam. And I'll get to that in a second. But yeah, I guess the only time I was ever exposed to Islam, the first time was my stepsister, who also had reverted. And I used to be around her and her children a lot when I was younger. And I always used to be so curious and actually very proud to have been around them and to learn from them. However, as I got older, I never really saw them as much. So that curiosity faded away. And the second time that I was exposed to Islam was through one of my ex-partners, and he was Muslim, and he definitely taught me a lot about Islam. He taught me a lot of Arabic. He taught me a lot about the culture, tried a lot of the food, and, definitely learned a lot about prayer and Ramadan. But when we were together, I guess I never really made the effort to learn more or dive deeper into it. I never felt that calling at the time. But I definitely learned a lot more being with him. So I guess the way that I actually found Islam was, back in October 2021. I was in a very dark place in my life. I felt like I was spiraling in my emotions. I felt like I didn't know how to handle my emotions. And this was a part of myself that I had thought I healed. However, I didn't, and I realized that I didn't. And I saw myself going back to how I thought I was healing myself was through distraction, drinking, partying, this, that, all this other stuff, when I wasn't actually addressing the issue or the problem, and I wasn't actually healing myself. It was all just distractions. So I found myself in this place again of not happy with who I was. I felt a lot of guilt and a lot of shame in my heart, and I knew that I wasn't who I was supposed to be. I wasn't fulfilling my soul. There was something missing there, and it was heavy. It was very heavy, and it was very dark. I was in and out of the hospital, and I had this feeling in me. Sorry, I don't want to get emotional. I had this feeling in me that I just wanted it to stop. I just wanted to stop feeling this way. I felt a lot of guilt and a lot of shame, and it was taking over me. And I was trying really hard, and my friends and my family, they didn't know how else to help me. They didn't know what else to do, and really it was up to me to change my mindset and my perspective and to stop, I guess, feeling sorry for myself. And I was really trying to find a new way, or I was trying to find a new way to find myself, and who I was always meant to be. So when I saw myself almost going down that path again of distractions, I had to take a step back, and I had to really be alone to understand who I needed to be. And Islam popped into my head because I remember through my ex-partner, the discipline and the good character, and the accountability that I saw was in Islam. And I decided to buy the Quran because I just wanted to learn more. It wasn't really to convert, actually it wasn't at all. I just really wanted to learn. I felt like I was ignorant. So I just bought the Quran one day, not realizing that it would literally change my life. So I bought it, and 5 pages in, I was hooked. I mean, I truly felt like God was speaking to me. And, a lot of my friends and my family would say, everything's going to be okay. Like, time heals everything. Like, you'll be all right. You are blessed. You are loved. But it wasn't until I heard these words from God that it made all the difference. And it was just so clear to me, and I didn't have to read between the lines. I didn't have to guess what it was saying. It was just very straightforward, and it gave me a lot of guidance in my life, and it gave me peace in my heart. And Islam is very, very detailed, and it has a lot of guidance for everything. It's literally a code of conduct, and everything that it was saying I was already aligned with, for myself. And it just made all the sense to me. And so I just kept reading, and I was going deeper and deeper into it. And I found myself just so eager and excited to learn more. Like, I would even be at work, or I would be hanging out with my friends, and I'd just be so eager to go home and learn more about Islam. Like, that's all I wanted to do. I almost became a little bit obsessed with it. Like, every single night, even to this day, I study at least for a couple hours about Islam, learning more and this and that, and reading the Quran. And it really just gives me peace in my heart, and it reminds me of how to be a good person, maintain myself, and like just be in a neutral ground. It really just helps me to stay calm and cool and collected and stuff like that. So it really, really helped me to have accountability. And I think that was really important to me. Accountability and discipline was 2 things that I knew that I wanted to improve in my life. And Islam definitely gave that to me. And I feel like a lot of people think that Islam is very harsh, or it's outdated. But at the end of the day, I realized that these things are really just benefits to you. And yeah, discipline is hard, and you may hate it at first, but you begin to love it because you see the benefits in it, and you see how much it's doing well for you. And for me, I'm a very sensitive person. I feel a lot. I feel a lot, and I realized that I needed protection. There's a lot of evil in this world, and there's a lot of negativity and things and people that are trying to bring you down. And I feel like in Islam, it really is a protection from that. So I realized that, and it's something that I knew that I needed, because I'm so sensitive to that type of thing. So it just really made sense to me, and I felt more protected, and I felt more at ease. And that's really what it was for me. I was going through these hardships, and I just really felt at ease, searching for an answer, searching for a way, like how can I stop feeling this way? And it was just there in front of my face, and it's what helped me. It was better than any therapy that I could have received. And the peace in my heart is just something that I can't even really explain at this point. It really, it just speaks for itself. So yeah, was studying more, studying every single day, and I realized that I was a little bit lonely in it because I couldn't talk to anybody about it. I couldn't share my excitement with anybody. I couldn't share my love of Allah to anybody. I didn't really want to freak out my friends or my family, or, I didn't want to make them uncomfortable. So it was kind of lonely at first, learning by myself. And then one day I met Aisha, and at a flea market. She was wearing the hijab, she was doing henna, and I saw her, and immediately I got so excited, and I felt this connection with her, and I was like, oh my gosh, I have to talk to her, you know what I mean? So I went up to her and I got henna, and I was like, I'm really interested in learning more of Islam. And she was so welcoming, alhamdulillah, for her and her family. She really was like, text me with any questions that you have. She gave me a bunch of books. She invited me over to her home. And this was really a big part of it because it made me feel more comfortable about it. And I learned so much through her too. She taught me how to do wudu for the first time. She taught me how to pray for the first time. And there's things that her and her family taught me about Islam that I probably would have never known on my own if I was just researching online or whatever. So, just really happy to have met her. We both believe that we met each other for a reason, and it's such a beautiful connection that happened. So that really sparked things for me. So the day that she taught me how to pray, ever since then, I prayed every single day, once a day, continued to study. I was learning the salah, the prayer, and I really just wanted to make sure that these were things that I loved. Before I fully took my shahada, I really wanted to make sure that I loved prayer. And, lo behold, I actually fell in love with prayer. Prayer is something that is so powerful and so beautiful to me, to be able to just reset 5 times a day and just talk and connect with my creator, with Allah. It really is something that is beautiful.
Giving dawah to non-Muslims is one of the most noble acts a believer can do. It's not just about speaking words, but about showing the beauty of Islam through your behavior, honesty, and kindness. When people see how Islam shapes your manners, how it teaches mercy, truth, and respect, they begin to understand the message of Islam without even hearing a single verse. Your character can be the strongest form of dawah. Having good character means being patient, fair, and gentle with everyone, regardless of their backgrounds or beliefs. The Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said, "The best among you are those who have the best manners. When you treat people with respect, listen to them sincerely, and deal with them truthfully, they will feel the difference." Many non-Muslims are drawn to Islam simply by the good example of a Muslim who lives with integrity. Be kind and helpful in your interactions, whether it's through your work, your words, or your actions. Always show compassion and humility. Avoid arguments or harshness, because da'wah is not about proving who is right. It's about touching hearts. When people see your calmness, modesty, and self-control, they will want to know more about the faith that gives you such peace. Remember, guidance is in the hands of Allah alone. Your duty is to deliver the message with sincerity and good manners. Even if your words or actions lead one person closer to Islam, your reward will be endless. Keep spreading goodness and let your character reflect the light of Islam wherever you go.